Mossie to Maine. A few days back, I was able to do a little bit of slack packing out of Vogel State Park, and I found myself on Trey Mountain at Trey Gap in weather sort of like this. And it was, as soon as I stepped out of the shuttle, it was windy and it was cold, and I wasn't even gonna wear this, but I'm glad I had my fleece. But what I realized was probably a couple of steps into the hike that I had an 11 something, a little bit more mile day, 11, not much more, 11.1, 11.2 mile day. What I realized was that I was completely and totally unprepared. As a matter of fact, the only thing that was available to me is this little mini caboo bag. So this is actually what I was carrying, and I didn't have nearly what I needed. And if I would have gotten caught, or if it would have been something, I don't know, I hate to use the word catastrophic, but any worse, and I would have really been in a bind. So what I wanted to do was, I just wanted to share with you what I carried that day and what I think probably you should. Now you can Google that. I mean, it's like the 12 essentials. It's not very hard to do. You can find it pretty easily just by Googling it, what you should carry in a day pack. But I'm just going to show you what I think I would have wanted to have in my day pack. Now, obviously everything was fine, and I walked, and it was a great day, and I just dealt with the rain and the cold, and got to my destination pretty uneventfully. So, but if I had to do over again, I don't think it's very wise what I did. Rookie mistake, and or just using what I had, because really this is the only extra little bag that we had around. I didn't have the normal bags that I would use, so that kind of makes a difference. Anyway, so yeah, I would probably not be out on that one. Now I did see this. This is a good little option just as far as bags go. This is a little REI brand, and it's an 18 liter. And so it's got a couple of different little pouches in it, and it's got just some different pockets, and it's even got like little side belts, but it's more for a little kid, and that's just what I see here hanging around me. So I just grabbed it just to show you. I have an Ascend 16 liter, I think, that's got some spacious room in it or whatever that I would have brought, but ideally probably even on a day hike, I think that it's not too much to carry maybe a 24 liter. And so this is a 24 liter from Cotopaxi, and I probably would have felt comfortable with this one on the trail with what I needed in it. And the primary thing being probably just extra warmth, just in case. This is my puppy, it's all stuff in itself or whatever. And so I probably really should have had this in addition to my fleece that I was wearing. And that is just something that I won't make the mistake of not bringing in the future. As far as warmth, I also would have liked to have had my gloves, and I just left without them, and I was being cold and bold and left my gloves behind. So I would definitely want to put that in my pack. I'm going to go ahead and actually, while I'm sitting here, I'm going to put it in there, and you'll see it's still super light compared to what we normally pack with. But I'm going to put my gloves in there and a puppy in there, and then I just think I really wish I would have had this. I did not have this. So keep the heat in, keep the wind off my ears or whatever. So this would have been really nice to have. So I wish I had that in my pack. So let me put that in there. I did not have this. Or maybe I did. Maybe I had this or whatever. But I would, just pick your inReach up. Just take it with you just in case. And just make sure that you have some sort of a satellite or communication. Any more, phones that have satellite on them. I have an older phone, so I don't. So I have to use the inReach. So I definitely would have wanted this split to be outside of my pack here. And I do believe I fought with it all day on that little bag. One of the things I did not have was my poncho. I mean, I just didn't even, I thought it was going to be windy. I didn't expect rain. I didn't expect the mountain terrain and things like that. It's just a higher elevation, and it just can spit and be unpredictable. And sure enough, I did not have my poncho. Actually, I think I even said it in my last video. I went to go take out what I thought was my poncho. I did prepare in that way. I was going to bring it because the weather is unpredictable. I did have a little bit of knowledge. When I pulled it out, I accidentally had pulled out my pack liner. So a pack liner is not going to cover me, and it's not going to be the size of a poncho, and it wasn't. And I should have taken some video with it over my head, because that would have looked really ridiculous, and you could have got a good laugh out of it. I think also I really wish I would have grabbed some hot hands, just a pack of them. So I'd have that in my pack as well. my headlamp. I did not have my headlamp, and conditions could have changed and gotten, you know, to where I couldn't see, or if for some reason I would have got stuck up there at night, really needed the headlamp. I had the light from my phone. However, this is so much more convenient. So I would have definitely packed my headlamp and my day pack. Sunglasses, it rained and things on me, but I didn't have any sunscreen and I didn't have any eye protection. And even in like overcast conditions, sometimes my eyes can get a little strained by the light. And so I really wish I would have had my sunglasses with me. Actually, I may have had my sunglasses with me and it may have rained on them all day, but it is something to think about just to put in your day pack. I didn't have any ibuprofen or any tape to doctor my feet if I needed to. And so I would make sure that that was in there in the future. I didn't have any electrolytes with me. And so I grabbed this pack, and it's, you know, whatever it be, whether it be Element or Gatorade. This is a Gatorade, or the liquid IV or anything like that or whatever, but just you need to always make sure that you have that as far as hydration is concerned. I didn't have a lighter. I needed a lighter, and so I'd make sure I had my lighter in my day pack. As far as charging and electronics and the things that we carry these days, it is so different than used to, as far as a compass or a map. I did have a whistle that I had been given by Max Subaru on the trail, and so I did have that with me the other day, and so I would definitely make sure that I carried that, because like he says, you never know when you're going to save a life. So definitely want some sort of a whistle so that when you're, you know, in a situation where you need it, you can use it. So as far as that, my night core, my backup battery, my external battery, and then my charging, I would definitely want that in my pack. What I did bring with me was I brought some lunch, and I had a Power Crunch. Both of these didn't get eaten because I got a little worried that I wasn't going to get off the mountain, so I stressed a little bit and decided to just walk on and suck it up, buttercup. So, but I was just thinking that probably a good idea is, I mean, with a day pack, you're gonna want some food just in case. This is just in case kind of thing. And so I just thought these Carnation instant breakfast would be, you know, it'd be calories and it's simple and easy to pack. And so I would throw those in a day pack. And of course, this is not exhaustive. I mean, like I said, you can Google it and find many more options of what you need or what you might want to have in your day pack just for an emergency situation. So that is, those are the things that I wish I would have had. Now, what I did have is I did have water. So I had a couple of these, but really probably, how would that have fit? So really, this is a 1.5 liters, and it is not unreasonable to think that you would need at least that much water when you're exerting yourself climbing mountains and being outside. And you know, if you don't have a reliable water source, you might want to make sure that you're carrying a little bit extra water that in your pack. And so there's my pack all packed out minus the water. I could put the water in the side pockets if I wanted to of this. It doesn't really matter what size, just to make sure that you have enough, what's adequate for you. And still, that is not very heavy. And so rather than hauling off and taking a walk in the woods without preparation or whatever, that's just what I would do in the future. And when I got up on that mountain and I just realized that, man, this could be pretty treacherous with the wind and the rain, and if I twisted my ankle or something like that and I just was going really, really slow down the mountain, it was going to be a really long day. So definitely want to make sure that you have what you need. And so I just wanted to share that vulnerability with you, that, you know, I can be hiking the Appalachian Trail, but I can still make mistakes, and we all make mistakes. And so there you go. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. And so with that, I hope y'all catch up soon. Why am I sitting in my truck? I'm supposed to be in the Appalachian Trail. Well, I got to tell you, I didn't really think I was going to be able to get to Neal Gap. Definitely didn't think I'd get up some of those mountains. And the logical solution for me and the motivation for me and how I'm going to hike my hike was to bring my truck and bump it forward and be basically hiking to my truck. And so that is what I've done. And my truck was, at the beginning of my Springer to Maine, was parked at Deep Gap, North Carolina. And I dropped it off there and was able to get my good friend to come and get me. And she subsequently dropped me off at Springer, and also spent some days at Vogel, and So I hiked to Deep Gap and picked up my truck, and it was mile 85. And I came off on Friday. I got out, I got to the truck on Friday, and the after that, it was like the natural thing to do was to come back near the Atlanta area and just kind of regroup for the next couple of days to figure out food drops and where to put the truck next and all the things that are required when you're kind of doing it in an unconventional way. A lot of people want to and are able to northbound hike from Springer to Maine with no vehicle. Some people fly into Atlanta and the airport and take a shuttle to Amicalola and start their hike there. I just knew that wasn't an option for me. I wasn't quite sure if my body would hold up. I wasn't quite sure if mentally I could hold up. And so this is just the way that I chose to do it. So I've regrouped, and now I'm going to bump the truck forward and get back on the trail tomorrow morning. This weather is very demotivating to get back on the trail. And so, this plays a huge mind game with me. So anyway, I'm going to bump the truck up again and get back on trail though, and head towards the truck. And so that will be my motivating factor at each step of the way. And so hopefully while my support is a little bit less in North Carolina, at least I will be able to, my truck will kind of be my support. As a matter of fact, behind my seat here, I have a ant-proof, critter-proof, huge tub that I've got a lot of my cold soaking meals in. They're individually packaged, and so they're definitely in these little baggies. They're not critter proof, but I've got that taken care of here behind my seat, and we'll be headed out I'm gonna start back at Deep Gap tomorrow and head north. And so that's kind of the plan. And many people do their hikes in many different ways, and this is just how, like I said, I've chosen to do mine. And there comes a time in life where, sometimes you have to do it a certain way. You're kind of boxed in by, possibly even your age, your health, and your circumstances to do it a certain way. And so this is how I'm doing it. And this is, I don't think a wrong way. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you in case I've had a double zero. I had my first zero yesterday, and now this is my second zero. I'll be back on tomorrow morning early, but the video of the truck being parked at Deep Gap and riding out or whatever, just in case you had any questions, that's what's going on. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you and just let you know that that's kind of what my journey looks like. Sometimes, and if something changes, I don't mind sharing that or whatever, but currently this is what I'm doing. And if I, get some better trail legs and, get going or whatever, possibly even for longer stints, through Virginia or whatever, maybe it'll look different, and maybe I'll be able to leave the truck somewhere else. Or if I can't do Virginia until later in the year, or if I have to flip flop it or mix it up or whatever, I might just have to do that, and that's okay. So it doesn't, matter so much to me how I get to Maine. So it's really just getting there. And so those logistical things that I've been able to work out, have worked for me. So anyway, all right, well, that is all I wanted to share. And just so that you knew that and you had a heads up, and if you're following the videos or just trying to follow along the journey, that you understood kind of what it is when I'm hiking to the truck, or if I've gotten to the truck and I am adios in the truck. So that's what's going on here. And there's no way I'm going to leave my pretty truck abandoned anywhere. So it really is pretty great motivation to get to the next spot. And it's also kind of a relief for me, because I don't exactly have to figure out in between, between here and or between Deep Gap and the Knock, do I really need to get off in Franklin? And so I won't really need to get off in Franklin. So I don't really have to figure that out along the way. I do just have to bump the truck before me. And I'm almost positive other people have done that. So if you have experience with that, or if you know somebody that has, oh my gosh, please comment and give me some encouragement about it below, because, to some people, they're just kind of like shaking their heads and don't understand when I'm explaining it to them. And not that I need to explain myself or whatever, but it's surely I'm not the only one that's come up with this, that needs, self-transport and needs to be able to get, on and off, with no support. I'm self-supporting, if you will. So there's the self-support folks, raise your hand. And there are those who, are shuttling around, and I've used, a couple of shuttles at this point, and that's how I'm going to be able to get, to and from the truck
when I do get to the truck, I have to figure out how to get the truck to the next place, and so I'll have to shuttle back. So I mean, there's that aspect of it or whatever, and it's okay. It's perfectly okay to do it that way. So anyway, if anybody needed that permission, I'm just giving you permission. You can do it that way if you want to. You can hike your hike, and that truly means to hike your hike. I think it's so funny that that expression is so prevalent on the trail, yet it's not okay to hike your hike. Like, why are you hiking it that way, or why are you doing it that way? Well, I'm hiking my hike. So there you go. Anyway, all right. Well, I will catch you hopefully. Oh, hopefully we'll have some sunshine and some better weather than this to start the day tomorrow. It's probable that it's going to be like this, so that's okay. I'll slug through it and get to the next shelter and hopefully figure out how to put a hammock up in those shelters. Whew. I think I'm going to be sheltering for a little while now. So because the weather is kind of looking a little pitiful. Looks like lots of rain and then colder temperatures and higher elevation. So hello, North Carolina. Goodbye, Georgia. Hello, North Carolina. Y'all catch up, okay?